Not convinced it ain't no acting or accident what the track emits. You strapped with gas that you ain't even practiced with. The fact is.
Welcome to 3-Count Commentaries. We're going to be talking about Smackdown from March the 4th, 2022. Pretty eventful Smackdown. Pretty eventful. But first, news and notes. The one news and note that I left off on purpose is that Vince McMahon is going to be inducting The Undertaker into the Hall of Fame. That is tremendous. It's absolutely the right decision. The only other options that would have made any sense would have been Foley, Kane, or Shawn. That would have been it. Now, you probably could have did a round table, this sort of induction, where all of these guys talked about him from their specific era or them working with him or whatever. But I think Vince, if you're going to do one guy, one introduction, Vince is the guy. It's the right decision. You're not going to get any debate out of me. Another note is that there has been dueling situations here with Cody Rhodes. Some people are saying that Cody is not coming in, that negotiations with WWE has fizzled out, while other people are saying Cody will be coming in. He's being factored into WrestleMania or the night after WrestleMania, wherever that goes. Ultimately, I don't know if I said this out loud. I probably should have if I didn't. I don't think he's going to be at WrestleMania anyway. It was a little too late to shoehorn him into the show. Like they could have, I guess, if he would have appeared, let's say after the Royal Rumble, shortly after or at Saudi Arabia, then maybe. But I think the closer we get to the show, we still have a lot of top guys who are unaccounted for at WrestleMania, and I don't know if shoehorning Cody into there would really be the right move. If Cody was going to show up, it would probably be the day after WrestleMania, which is likely the time that if I was WWE, that I would pinpoint bringing Cody in, because essentially the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns story is over, and there's going to be some other stories that are going to take place on that show that are also going to be over. So you're probably going to see some call-ups from NXT. You're probably also going to see some returns, some people being brought back, that sort of thing. And you're probably also going to get ready for another round of releases, to be quite honest. So that's late middle March is probably around a better time to, not middle March, but middle April. I know that the WrestleMania is early April, but I say middle April, because then they're going to be preparing for Backlash, and they may do some rematches for Backlash or something like that. So we'll see. But if we make it through April and Cody didn't show up, or if he shows back up in AEW by that point, then we'll know. But I think everybody speculating is kind of jumping to conclusions. And it's really just trying to drive people crazy, because it's like nobody knows. And to be quite honest, it's all smoke and mirrors anyway. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. All right, so let's get into SmackDown. So we start SmackDown with the old school, very short promos from Paul Heyman, Ronda Rousey, Sonya Deville, Viking Raiders, the Usos, and Ricochet. Sami Zayn as well. So I missed this. They used to do this for the old Royal Rumble events or the old Survivor Series or something like that, where you talk to all the people who are going to be involved in the show, and they cut like a short 20 to 30 second promo about what's going to happen, what they're going to do to their opponent. Paul Heyman is there representing the tribal chief. Ronda Rousey is there talking about her SmackDown debut. Is going to be one to remember, and showing Sonya Deville what happens when authority oversteps its bounds. Sonya Deville says she's going to make Ronda Rousey's debut a defeat. The Viking Raiders in their Viking Raider voices, so they're going to rip the titles from the Usos. The Usos said they have no chance. Ricochet says that Sami Zayn has all of these many nicknames, but the one thing they won't be calling him is the Intercontinental Champion. And Sami Zayn says he is a man of many nicknames and a man of many monikers. And you're going to figure out why they call him a master of master strategist or whatever. So the first match, Sami Zayn loses the Intercontinental Championship to Ricochet via Hurricanrana. Ricochet showed his ass in this match. He really did. He really got out there, and Sami Zayn did a good job of showcasing Ricochet, being there for his spots and knowing his stuff. It's hard to take a Ricochet match too seriously when he's doing just acrobatics, but he looked tremendous. That handspring outside the ring was beautiful. It was tremendous stuff, He still can't cut a promo to save his fucking life, though. Johnny Knoxville came out ringside to distract Sami Zayn. When Sami Zayn turned around, it was a big Hurricanrana and a 3 count, and I legitimately dropped my remote and stopped what I was doing. I was like, oh my fucking God. It is a miracle. This is a literal miracle. Ricochet was dead meat 2 weeks ago. This is typical WWE. You know, they don't bother building people up anymore. Very rarely. This guy was dead meat 2 weeks ago. This guy was getting pounded into pace by Ridge Holland like 2 weeks ago. And now he's the Intercontinental Champion. That's crazy. It's just insane WWE booking. So the dirt sheets, they walk away with a draw on this one. They walk away, 1-1. They took a punch, but they threw one pretty nicely too. One dirt sheet says that Ricochet was internally going to get a push and that he was slotted to be the number 2 babyface in the entire brand behind Drew McIntyre, which would have to be behind Brock too, right? Because Brock is technically on SmackDown as he wrestles for the Universal title. So he would have to be top 3, top 4, whatever. And that he was slated to be pushed. While other people were saying that Sami Zayn was going to wrestle Johnny Knoxville for the Intercontinental Championship, it seems that they split the baby. They are going to push Ricochet because they gave him the Intercontinental title. But they're also going to have Sami Zayn wrestle Johnny Knoxville, just not with the title on the line. And I think both of those are superior ideas. Ricochet now, pretty much, now I don't know when the last time the Intercontinental Championship was on the line at WrestleMania. I think actually it was last year, Apollo Crews and Big E. So maybe they do something with Ricochet this year. He has a ladder match or something like that to defend the title. Maybe they put him in a feud with somebody to defend the title. That ought to be nice. So he can do his thing. And Sami Zayn storyline with Johnny Knoxville has more logs thrown on the fire. So Sami Zayn is backstage. He's throwing an absolute tantrum. He's wrecking everything. And then he's paranoid, started ranting at the cameraman, saying that the cameraman's always following him, always recording him. Then he says that Johnny Knoxville is always stalking him and following him around. And says, oh, since you want to follow me to Dallas. And I challenge you to a match at WrestleMania. Later, Johnny Knoxville actually accepts and says that Sami is sad and strange, and he's the intercontinental chump, and that he's put his body on the line for a lot of things, even talking about breaking his wee-wee, doing something. And I was completely like, what? How do you break? What? I wouldn't have admitted that one in public. In any event, he accepted the match. So, okay. This is vastly superior to the original idea of Johnny Knoxville wrestling for the Intercontinental title. This is infinitely better. Infinitely better. Sami still has to win, of course. And something about this tells me that maybe they took the belt from Sami because Sami's going to lose. I don't like that idea. I hope they don't do that. So I'm thinking Sami's actually going to win. So I don't mind this. It is what it is. All right, so Austin Theory comes out next, and I was like, oh boy. So the dirt sheet's about to take an L on this one. Austin Theory says Mr. McMahon is here, and where Mr. McMahon goes, he goes. And then that Pat McAfee got set up by Vince McMahon because Vince McMahon knows that Pat McAfee is somebody nobody likes, and that he wants Pat McAfee shut up. Then he says that he was going to be Pat McAfee's opponent for WrestleMania, and then he smacked him. I guess he still had did he still have the microphone in his hand when he did it? He didn't knock him down or anything. Pat McAfee did a pretty good job of not really taking Austin Theory seriously. At Austin Theory's this point in his career, he can talk tough and still be chicken shit and not be taken seriously. Now, I know it's a little bit different because McAfee is not really a wrestler, and I'll talk about this in a moment. And maybe McAfee should have taken him a little bit more seriously. But Austin Theory has kind of been a little shithead, that's kind of out there talking all that junk about, making Pat McAfee drink his meals through a straw and all that kind of stuff. It was funny, and it was pretty simple. He just came out there and said, I am your opponent, and then smacked him. And, so maybe we'll find out that Austin Theory actually, took it upon himself to go out there and challenge Pat McAfee, and that maybe that wasn't the original idea. I don't know, but the match itself is exactly what I expected. So everybody who thought Vince was wrestling, take your massive L, and how you probably should have been paying attention. Follow the product, as they say. Follow the product. Use your own eyes and ears. You've been watching the show. For Christ's sake, when do you think Vince McMahon at almost 80 years old is going to wrestle? Come on, man. Use your brain. Come on, man. So Pat McAfee called Austin Theory a boy toy, and then blamed all of this whole thing on Michael Cole, and said that Michael Cole knew all about this. I wish Pat McAfee would have taken this a little bit more seriously. He just got slapped, and now he's making jokes or whatever. I didn't really like that, but he was trying to get back into commentary character or whatever. So this match is an interesting one. It's a great showcase for Austin Theory. The problem with this match is that Pat McAfee has had at most 3 matches. I think he's had 3. I think that's like the most he's had. And Austin Theory is like 25. Now he's been doing this for a while. He's been doing it for like 4 years. I know he was wrestling in Evolve. He did it there for a little while. He was in NXT for 2 years, but he's still very young. So you're asking who's going to lead this match, and it's going to have to be Austin Theory. So you say to yourself, you're going to put a guy who doesn't have a lot of experience in the ring with Austin Theory. They have a lot of respect for Austin Theory and his work to do that. They have to have a lot of faith in him if they think he can carry Pat McAfee. Adam Cole was a completely different thing because Adam Cole had already had like a decade of experience working in Ring of Honor. Completely different thing. Here, a little different. Austin Theory is barely over as a talent. And they're putting him in a showcase match at WrestleMania with Pat McAfee, who is a guy, with a pretty big platform and somebody that people actually like. It's somebody he can get some heat on, So it's a good idea. They really want to get Austin Theory over. I really need them to put some serious heat on this though. Instead of he just coming out there saying, I'm your opponent and smacking him, should have made a reason for that, but I'm sure that they'll probably backload this whole thing. They're going to pull an AEW and book the match and then try to book a reason later. But I don't mind this. I don't mind Austin Theory versus Pat McAfee. I was already mentally prepared for it. So second match, Naomi and Sasha Banks. Naomi was out there. Sasha comes out with the glow sticks. She didn't have anything to say. She didn't cut a promo or anything. She's just dancing with glow sticks on. She got a new hairstyle. She's adopting Naomi's gimmick. So she's not even the boss anymore. Like usually she would have come out to her own theme and everything, even just to stand in the corner of Naomi. But they've completely folded Sasha into the Naomi act. Team Bad was referenced here, which I thought was interesting. Michael Cole actually knows the product that he's been commentating on for 30 years. Thank you. Carmella was her opponent. Zelina was out there. Zelina says that in 30 days they're going to have their biggest nights, and Carmella talked about, she's talking about her wedding. Zelina was like, no, the tag team championships. And he's like, oh yeah. Carmella says, yeah, that's right. But tonight, the only one, just like my wedding night, will be glowing is me. And then of course she lost via split leg moonsault. Naomi needed to win. Carmella loses all the time. It doesn't matter. I don't see this as an L for Sasha, really. It seemed like this was the plan from the beginning because Sasha got eliminated from Zelina in that big tag match. So I'm guessing whatever is going on with Sasha, we're going to have to figure this out after WrestleMania. Because whenever Ronda Rousey is around, the Sasha Banks situation gets really strange. It's just not out of... you just can't ignore it. Whenever Ronda Rousey comes around, Sasha Banks gets shoved to the side. And then things get ugly from there. So, soon as Ronda came back, Sasha automatically moved to the tag team division. That's not good. That's not good. Now, I'm not saying it's a terrible thing to be in the tag team division. I'm just saying the tag team division was completely an afterthought on Raw. there was not even an inkling of a tag team on SmackDown. Since they broke up Shotzi and Tegan Nox, there was not even an inkling of a SmackDown on tag team. And now Sasha Banks is thrown into that thing. Maybe they figure her star power can help it, but that's also why you would think she would have come out to her own entrance and did her own thing. By folding her into Naomi's act, they basically just trying to say, oh yeah, you're Naomi's sidekick for a little while. And that doesn't really fit Sasha. You know, like when she was playing Bayley's sidekick 2 years ago, I noticed it. And I was like, that's very weird that they would do that. It made sense at that point because, you know, Sasha had been the alpha friend the whole time. And Bayley was the beta friend. And then at this point, Bayley was more successful, so she was the alpha friend. So that made sense. In this context, however, Naomi is the alpha friend. And she's just going to ride the Naomi coattails. I don't know about that one. But it is what it is. And I'm not going to complain too much about it. It's just an interesting note. So, Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin are playing cards with the boys. I don't know. Some of those dudes look familiar. And I don't know who they were, but they look familiar. Corbin was talking about his WrestleMania record of winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and retiring Kurt Angle. Madcap Moss did his Drew McIntyre impersonation, and it was actually funny. It was a poop joke, but it was actually funny. Jinder Mahal lost to Drew McIntyre via the Claymore. After the match, Drew said no one cares about Corbin and Moss and that they have zero respect in the backstage. And he did a show of hands who wants to gouge their eyes out every time Corbin and Moss are on the screen. And once everybody, including Kayla Braxton, raised her hand, and it was unanimous that said that he's going to be doing the world a favor at WrestleMania because he's going to take Happy Corbin out. After his promo, Madcap Moss makes another joke in which he says, what do you call Drew McIntyre when he refuses to get in the ring for WrestleMania? The back down warrior. And he thought that was funny. And Happy Corbin did not laugh. And I think that was a great storytelling device, you know, because Happy Corbin always laughs at every one of Madcap Moss's stupid jokes. But he didn't find that one to be funny. He didn't think that one was funny. Later, they're playing darts. And they're talking about winning and all that kind of stuff. And Angela hits the dartboard and scares off Corbin and Moss. So that was all right, I guess. I'm not thrilled about this McIntyre Corbin thing. It is not. There's nothing they can do to make this feel more like the fourth match on Raw. You know, like this is not good. It's not good. This is bad booking. This is bad booking. You were probably better off. They'd probably just do the Andre on TV, but they were probably better off doing the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and having McIntyre win that. At least he would have some momentum and it's something that he could talk about, you know, rather than him beating up on Happy Corbin. That's just lame. This is lame. This is terrible. Rick Boogs and Nakamura came out. Then they got jumped by the Usos, seemingly for no reason whatsoever. And I saw a lot of people complaining, like, why did they get jumped by the Usos? Well, Roman Reigns music started to play. Because Nakamura and Boogs, whatever they were about to do, it's not nearly as important as was Roman Reigns about to come to the ring. So in typical bully fashion, they knocked these guys down, kicked them to the side, and Reigns got to cut his promo. So Reigns says that, Madison Square Garden, he's defending his title. Brock's defending his title. He's going to do what he do, even though he doesn't even have an opponent yet. And the crazy thing is, the MSG show is actually the day after SmackDown. They didn't have a full card announced. So I think a lot of people were like, oh, the MSG show, they're not doing very well in terms of financials, and tickets and everything. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, it's a mighty expensive ticket to go to MSG now. But they also didn't even announce the main event. Like, who is Roman wrestling at MSG? We don't know. Who is Brock wrestling? We don't know. So it's like, why would you buy a ticket in advance just to see the show if you know Brock and Roman is going to be there, but you don't know who they're wrestling? It's one thing for you to just be like, okay, Mario Mancini or some shit is going to show up to wrestle Roman Reigns. It's like, I don't want to see that. At least entice me with an idea of, I know they said Bobby Lashley, but we all know Bobby Lashley's not going to be there. So we don't have any idea what's going on. And you're asking people to put a lot of money on the book without even knowing what the card is. This is a house show too, bruh. Now I did hear that they will be recording it, and they're going to be recording some of the matches at MSG, maybe for some type of special they're going to put on the network or for YouTube or something. Hopefully. That's just something I heard. I don't know if that's actually going to be the case or not. Anyway, Roman says that he wants Brock's title. And even though everybody doesn't want Brock to be the champion, everybody wants him to walk to WrestleMania with the title, he wants it because he got a spoiler. And he says that he's the Babe Ruth of WWE. He calls his shot, and he's going to call his shot again. He's going to smash Brock, pin Brock, stand over Brock with $5 million worth of fireworks going off, and will force Brock to acknowledge him. Pretty basic promo, got the point across. Just keep hammering how big this match is, and I truly believe this is how WrestleMania will end, with Roman having both titles in the air. It is what it is. The Usos then defeated the Viking Raiders by using 3D, what they have renamed One and Done. This is a pretty solid match. The second solid match of the show, the Intercontinental Championship match, was also pretty good. New Day is riding around on their ATV, waving and making friends, I guess. The fifth match, Big E versus Sheamus. Big E comes out to the New Day theme. His own theme song is now gone. So, he's not even using his own theme song anymore. I don't remember the outcome of this match because I did look away. I did see Ridge Holland hit Kofi with a chair, and then he started to bang the ATV with a chair. Later, they stole the ATV and destroyed it with sledgehammers. Sheamus and Ridge Holland are just absolute bastards. They wrecked this ATV for no good reason, just because they're mean guys. And they're microwaving a lot of feuds on SmackDown, bro. Like, they're trying to create reasons for people to fight each other, and they're just kind of like, the ATV, Kofi Kingston buys Big E this this birthday gift, and then Sheamus and Ridge Holland destroy it. Why? They don't like, they're mean. They from Donnybrook Lane. Like, they're the fight night guys. Oi, look at me, little hat. Look at me, little jacket. What you got your little ATV there? What do you think you are? You're running around so famous, huh? That's what you think about yourself? You think you're a little famous with your little ATV, huh? How about that? How about I take a little sledgehammer to it? How about that? And I think that's how it would it leveled out. Sheamus and Big E both are former world champions and throwaway, well, Kofi too, all in throwaway feuds that are not involved in anything major going into the biggest stretch of the year. It is what it is, man. It's hard to argue because there's so many guys like this. There's so many Big E's and Shinsuke Nakamura's and Sheamus's and Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens's, and just so many guys who are doing nothing. And this was the problem that I had with the celebrities. It's like Pat McAfee has a match. Logan Paul has a match. But fucking Nakamura doesn't. Fucking Big E doesn't. Fucking Seth Rollins doesn't really even have a match. And he's going to be in a tag match. I don't know if we can, celebrities are supposed to enhance the show, not fucking take over the show. Like, that's my whole issue with this thing. Celebrities, like, if somebody was going to get over by training Johnny Knoxville for his match with Sami Zayn, that'd have been fine. That's kind of what they did with Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow. But if you're just going to have these guys coming into the match and, they're going to get the spotlight to do all the wrestling. It's like, what the fuck about all the guys who, we spent all this time, investing in? I know WrestleMania is for the masses, but at the same time, you got to smarten up here. You paying these fucking guys. I mean, why not just bring in all fucking celebrities at that point? Just do a celebrity wrestling show. Nah, that's a joke. I know everybody gets so upset about this whole celebrity shit. The only thing I don't like about it, again, is there's so many of them. We don't need to have 3 or 4 fucking celebrity matches. And to be quite honest, it is true. It's real that you have so many guys who work their asses off all year and they get left off the card for no reason. You have more than enough time. You know, there's going to be some really talented dudes thrown into the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal because we couldn't come up with storylines for them. Or the best we could do is they get busted up, their ATV busted up. Or, you know, somebody's going to spill coffee on somebody or some silly shit like that. It is what it is, man. You know, but it sucks. You know, it just absolutely sucks that's what we ended up with here. All right, so the main event, Sonya Deville versus Ronda Rousey. So Sonya Deville was talking to Charles Robinson, almost as if she was trying to get the referee to favor her a little bit. Charles Robinson promised to call it right down the middle, which Sonya Deville didn't like. Then Samantha Irvin, I think that's who that is, right? She announced literally everything in terms of Ronda Rousey. They announced that she's going to be wrestling Charlotte Flair. She's the one in the Royal Rumble and former Raw Women's Champion and all that. I'm like, God damn, what kind of introduction is this? What's up with this super introduction? Some people don't barely even get their name announced. Some people get names and weight. Some people get name and where they're from. And Ronda Rousey gets her entire resume shouted through the fucking house mic. Like, come on. Can we have some consistency, please? You know, can we consistently do name, weight, hometown? That's all we really need. You can announce the winner of the Royal Rumble. Okay, King of the Ring, winner of the Royal Rumble, Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. If they have some type of achievement, sure, let's go with that. But they basically announced everything about Ronda Rousey, including what night the show she and Charlotte will be wrestling on. So Charlotte was on commentary saying that Ronda Rousey only had one move, which is her armbar. Meanwhile, Ronda Rousey's in the ring doing all the moves she know how to do anyway. Her knee strikes in wrestling do not look good. Most of them don't look good. And Ronda's knee strikes also didn't look very good. But they were there. I do like her judo throws. Of course, she has perfected that because that's her background. And I like her rolling attacks. You know, they're pretty sweet. So she submits Sonya Deville with the armbar. Sonya Deville barely got any offense in. I don't understand why Sonya Deville is a boss and a job guy at the same time. That makes no fucking sense. You know, it really doesn't. It really doesn't make any sense. Anyway, Ronda Rousey demanded that Charlotte get in the ring. Charlotte stupidly does so, gets attacked and put into an ankle lock, proving that Ronda Rousey does have a second move, even though Piper's Pit is also another move that she can do. And she used it in this match, by the way. She just didn't win with it. And so now Charlotte is limping, you know, now that Ronda Rousey has unveiled her third move of doom. It's okay. I don't mind Charlotte, you know, looking a little weak going into WrestleMania. She's going to eventually go back strong. They're trying to really kind of reestablish Ronda Rousey, and making her look strong now is a good way of doing so. I can just hear all the knuckle draggers like, man, if other people was booked as strong as Ronda Rousey, they'd be over. And Ronda isn't over. And I think Ronda's a little bit more over. But the whole thing is, and I'll say it again, a lot of it is just anti-Charlotte. I'm not sure people actually give a shit about Ronda Rousey. I don't think they care, if we're being honest. And that's a very difficult thing. Even people who like her, they're not emotionally invested in Ronda Rousey. This should not be the main event of WrestleMania. I think now is the time to have that conversation. Because I've heard this is closing night one. This is not the match you use to close a WrestleMania. There is no emotional involvement in this. You know, people are going to shit on this. Even if it's okay, people are going to shit on it and say it's not worthy of being the main event of WrestleMania. The story is not strong enough, and there is no emotional investment. You know, there should have been, if they wanted to build an emotional story, I could have given them some tips on that. But they did not want to. They want to continue with the Ronda Rousey is the baddest woman on the planet and trying to force her to be a babyface. I don't think that's going to work. You know, I think bringing Ronda back as a babyface was already a mistake. If you're going to have a women's main event, and I'm not saying they should, but if they were going to, Becky and Bianca is the right one to go with. Put Ronda and Charlotte on there, put them out there first, and then let Becky and Bianca main event. Because I'm guarantee you, even though they've had matches on Raw and stuff like that already, and Charlotte and Ronda, this will be the first time they actually had a singles match. Well, I think the second, because they had a singles match a couple of years ago. It's the emotional investment isn't there. And what you don't want is two people that the fans don't like, and they're being forced to like one of them. I think you're looking at a Triple H Randy Orton situation in the making. Because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to see a lot of stuff. And then Ronda and Charlotte's going to come out there, having been put in the main event and likely didn't deserve it. Doesn't have the same amount of intrigue. And people are going to shit on it. I just see it coming already. I feel it in the air that this is going to flop as a main event match. But they're going to chug along anyway. But I'm just saying it's probably a bad idea. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel. Thank you guys for your time, and I will talk to you guys later.